You can open the file. You can read every word of it. And Copilot may never have read past the first 4 megabytes on limits Microsoft publishes itself. That is one of 6 checkpoints your question passes, and these last 3 are not about your permissions at all. Part 1 is linked below if you want the other 3. Subscribe, notifications on, and a like helps. One line of recap, and then we are straight in. In Enterprise Copilot, your question is not only an instruction, it is also a search. Part 1 covered the 3 checkpoints that decide what you are allowed to reach: your permissions, the label on the file, and the policy your administrator wrote. These 3 decide something different, whether what you are looking for was ever in the index to be found. Checkpoint 4. The content somebody deliberately pulled out of Copilot's reach. There is a SharePoint feature called Restricted Content Discovery. Roughly, it is the button for a site full of things that people can technically open but that nobody wants surfacing in an answer. Where it stops is documented in 3 sentences, and all 3 matter. 1. Microsoft says it does not remove content from the search index. The content is still indexed, and eDiscovery still works on it. It is being excluded from surfacing, which is a different thing. 2. For sites with more than 500,000 items, an update could take more than a week to fully process and reflect in Search and Copilot. More than a week. Turn it on for a big site on a Monday, and you should not assume anything about the following Monday. 3, and this is the one to write down, it does not affect experiences that operate on content already in use by the user. Their example, not mine, summarizing an open document. So restrict the site, wait your week, and a document from it that somebody happens to have, open still gets summarized. Checkpoint 5. The web. And more to the point, who decides whether you get it? Web search is on by default. An administrator can turn it off with a policy, and when they do, Microsoft says the toggle in your own interface appears dimmed. You can see the control, you cannot use it. Where this one stops is genuinely surprising, and it is 3 things. First, what gets searched is not what you typed. Microsoft says the generated search query is different from the user's original prompt and consists of a few words informed by it. Their own worked example is on screen. Somebody asks, "Who is my manager?" and what public information is available about them. And the query that actually goes out is the manager's name. Second, you can see those derived queries for 24 hours in the chat, and that is it. And if you are working in the Copilot pane inside Word or PowerPoint, Microsoft says those citations are not available there at all. So in the app where most people actually use this, you never see what it looked up. Third, and read this one carefully because it is easy to get wrong in both directions. Microsoft says the data protection addendum does not apply to generated web search queries, and that HIPAA compliance and the EU data boundary do not apply to them either. That is a statement about which agreements cover those queries. It is not a statement about what is in them, and I am not going to dress it up as one. If your organization is relying on those commitments, the derived query is a gap you should know exists, and the person to ask is not me. And your administrator separately can search, audit, and eDiscover the exact queries Copilot derived. You get 24 hours. That is a different window from theirs, and it is worth knowing which one you are in. Checkpoint 6, and it is the least glamorous one on the list, which is why it catches people. Whether your file was ever properly readable in the first place. If your organization connects an on-premises file share, Microsoft publishes the limits. Files over 100 megabytes are not indexed at all, and for everything else, processing stops when a file reaches 4 megabytes. Their sentence, and it is the useful one. Therefore, some phrases present in the file might not work for search. Some phrases present in the file might not work for search. That is a very calm way of saying the back half of your long document may as well not exist. And for images, only the metadata is indexed. The multimedia content is ignored, so the drawing is in there, the file name is in there, and what is drawn is not. Nothing tells you which of your files hit that ceiling. Which brings me to the thing you can actually do about all of this, and it is not what you have been told. You have heard that you should write more specific prompts for Copilot. That is correct. And the reason you have been given is almost always wrong. It is not that Copilot is stricter or locked down or that it blocks vague questions. It does not block them. In everything I have shown you today, it answered every single time. Go back to checkpoint 0. In a chat window, your words are an instruction. Here, your words are also the search. And a search has to match something. So take the example I opened with. Summarize my last meeting. Think about what that has to do. Last according to whom, in which calendar, and does that mean the one that ended most recently or the one you are thinking about? There is nothing in that sentence for a search to grab. Now, summarize the Q3 budget preparation meeting. Every one of those words is something that exists. It is a title, it is findable, and it survives being rewritten because Microsoft's own example shows you exactly what survives a rewrite. Somebody asked about their manager and what came out the other side was the manager's name. The proper noun is what got through. That is the whole technique. Ask like you are talking to a search box that has to find something first, because it is one. And here is why it is worth the extra 10 seconds of typing. I ran the same prompt twice, 4 minutes apart, in 2 fresh chats, with the model pinned by hand to the same model both times. The first run went and read documents from my tenant. There is a sources row, and it says so. The second run did not. I ran that twice. Twice is not a rate. I am not going to tell you how often it happens, and I am not going to tell you why, because Microsoft does not publish when retrieval fires, and I am not inventing a reason on camera. But look at the 2 answers. One of them is your organization talking. The other one is a language model talking. Both are fluent, both are formatted, and the only signal you get is whether there are sources underneath. And we just spent a minute on why that is not a receipt either. A vague question does not get refused, it gets answered from somewhere else. Name the meeting. 6 checkpoints: permissions, labels, your admin's policy, restricted content, the web, and whether the file was readable. Every one of them documented by Microsoft. Every one of them with an edge they do not put on the slide. Every quote in this came off Microsoft's live pages on the 13th of August, 2026. Those pages carry no version history, and 2 of the ones in part 1 contradict themselves. So check the date before you quote me, and check your own tenant before you trust either of us. There is no ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini interface in this video, and that is deliberate. They all have enterprise controls of their own, and this was never a scoreboard. The question worth answering was what Microsoft 365 Copilot does to your question before a model ever sees it, and that answer is on Microsoft's site. If this changed how you write a prompt, subscribe and turn notifications on. A like puts it in front of the next person who is about to ask about their last meeting.